Let's welcome in our CBS Sports MLB insider, the incomparable Jim Bowden. JB, another jam-packed day in the bigs, from positive tests to unsettled scores. We begin with the latter here. Some street justice served in that long-awaited meeting between the Astros and Dodgers. Joe Kelly sending a pair of messages to Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa. Jim, fair or foul what we saw on Tuesday?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think we all expected it to happen. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but there is bad blood between these two teams. And the cheating scandal has the Dodgers feeling like they might have been cheated out of a world championship in 2017. And so Joe Kelly took the 3-0 count to Bregman and threw the ball behind him. Now he disguised it with a breaking ball. So afterwards he could say, hey, it was a breaking ball. He wasn't trying to hurt Bregman, but certainly the message was there. There you can see the inside pitch to Gurriel, knocking him off of the plate. And then here you go to Carlos Correa behind him, too. This is not a pitcher being wild. This is a pitcher sending the message. Remember back in 2017, Joe Kelly was a member of the Boston Red Sox, and the Astros beat them. So Joe Kelly sent the message. And look, this is just the beginning for the Astros. They're going to deal with this when they play the Angels, the Yankees, a lot of other teams. But the Dodgers were going to take care of this thing. They waited to the 6th inning. They waited till they got a big enough lead. And then Joe Kelly did what he needed to do, and he did it in a way that nobody got hurt. Now, I will say this, Joe. The umpire should have given a warning to both teams the minute they threw behind Bregman, even though it was a breaking ball, because we all knew the history. We all knew this was going to happen. So it shouldn't have come to then Gurriel, then Correa as well. And that's what got Dusty Baker extremely upset. That's why he came out with his mask to argue. Fortunately, no punches, no pushing, no shoving, no suspensions. That's what's important. Baseball-wise, message was sent, Dodgers to the Astros.
Yeah, just some spirited weekday conversation is all. Beyond would-be beanballs, the Dodgers take Game 1. Game 2 was supposed to be Kershaw-Verlander. Neither of those gentlemen available at the moment. Should we expect more fireworks on Wednesday? What are we looking at?
No, I think you set the message, and now you just go play ball and you go forward. You're not going to keep doing this. I think each team is probably going to do this, or a lot of teams are going to do this, but then you go play ball, and I think that's what the Dodgers will do going forward. They did show off their bullpen tonight against the Astros. It was impressive. Brusar Graterol was throwing 101 miles an hour. He threw 6 pitches 100 or higher. He threw a 90-mile-an-hour slider. People had no chance on it. If you remember, Graterol was originally in the Betts deal with Verdugo, but the Red Sox didn't like the medicals, and the Dodgers ended up acquiring him from the Twins for Kenta Maeda. He was impressive. Blake Trinan, who they signed in the offseason to that $10 million deal, he was 97, 98. He was nasty as well. And then Kenley Jansen got the save. But that bullpen is deep and strong for the Dodgers, and they showed that off tonight.
Yeah, pieces starting to click there in La La Land. Elsewhere in the majors, Anthony Rendon makes his Angels debut, 1 for 3 with a pair of walks and a late homer there in the 8th inning. What does a guy like this do for an already hefty lineup?
Yeah, I mean, he changes the complexion of the lineup, and he didn't have to wait very long to get his first homer as an Angel, as you can see right here, homering to left field. The other story in the game was Albert Pujols also hitting a homer in the game, and for him, number 357, 3 behind Willie Mays. But to answer your question, Rendon changes the dynamics of the lineup because you cannot pitch around Trout now. When you're sitting there and you have a lineup that's going to have Trout, Rendon, Ohtani, Upton, Pujols, you're not going to get a break if you're a pitcher. This lineup is going to beat teams 8-7, 6-5. You're going to get some high-scoring games. Rendon hits really good pitching. He hits really good pitches, just like Trout does, just like Ohtani does, just like Pujols used to. And so if Pujols and Upton can at least hit for power and let the other big 3 guys, Trout, Rendon, Ohtani, do the damage, the Angels are going to have a shot at making the playoffs. Now, granted, I will tell you that we're talking about spots 14, 15, and 16 in terms of the playoff spots this year, but they do have a chance to get in, and Rendon's going to be a major reason why.
Yeah, it would be some great star power to see there in the postseason, no doubt. We got to take things off the diamond here for a second, as have the Marlins and Phillies, the 2 clubs currently on hold. The Marlins until Monday at the earliest, leaving more than a few games to make up at a later date. Jim, Commissioner Manfred getting cozy between a rock and a hard place right now. What do you make of the handling of this early curveball dealt to the decision makers?
I think Commissioner Manfred did a tremendous job of pivoting and acting quickly here and postponing all of the games through Sunday. Marlins' next scheduled game is next Tuesday. I think you had to do it when you have half your team testing positive, and there could be more positive tests. You know, you can get the disease 3-5 days afterwards. So the question is, are more players going to test positive when we get to Thursday or Friday? Well, no point in resuming the schedule and then finding out more players are positive. So this is the right thing to do. They're listening to the medical people. They're listening to the CDC. The Nationals didn't want to go to Miami to play them. The commissioner's office listened to the players of the Nationals as well. And again, this is the way the whole season's going to be going. Everyone's got to adjust. I thought they did also a very good job of being overcautious with the Phillies and canceling their next series with the idea of they could have been infected. Let's wait 3 to 5 days to find out if they were. They're testing the Phillies every day. They did today with saliva. So far, all the tests are negative. They hope that remains. And in the meantime, because Baltimore has no one to play because of the cancellations, they said, okay, well, the Yankees were going to play the Phillies. Now we'll have the Yankees go to Baltimore for Wednesday and Thursday and play those games there. And that's what baseball's going to have to do the rest of the year, is when these things come up, they're going to have to adjust the schedules on the fly. Let's credit the Yankee players, the Philly players, the national players. Everybody's adjusting. I also thought it was great that baseball, and they don't have to, came out and told the Phillies, they told the Nationals, we're going to pay you anyway, even if these games are not made up. Now, they didn't say the same thing about the Marlins, which I think they will, but they're going to wait until the investigation comes out to see how they actually got the coronavirus. There have been some whispers out there that some of the Marlins may have gone out partying in Atlanta. That has not been confirmed by anyone at this point. But baseball is investigating to try to find that out. And I think that will determine if they will pay the Marlins for the games that they're missing.
Yeah, something to definitely keep an eye on over these next couple of days. But the scheduling dominoes falling accordingly, as you mentioned. Originally slated for a set with those Phillies, the Yankees will now take on the Orioles Wednesday and Thursday instead. How the schedule is going to end up coming into form is beyond me at this moment. But as for the Bronx Bombers, in the short term, it's been a logistical nightmare the last 72 hours. How are they going to refocus here in Baltimore?
Well, it's going to be pretty easy the way they destroyed the Orioles last year. I know Gleyber Torres is excited that he gets to face the Orioles instead of the Phillies pitching, because he had 10 home runs last year against these Baltimore Orioles. So, you know, for the Yankees, instead of having to face the contending Phillies, they get to go in there and face Baltimore. So, you know, again, easy adjustment for them. Not a big deal. This Yankee team looks really good out of the gate. Giancarlo Stanton looks like he's going to be comeback player of the year. Aaron Judge looks great. And Garrett Cole, their ace. Boy, he did not disappoint in his debut against the Nationals. And guess who the Orioles get to face in their next game? That's right. Garrett Cole will take the bump against the Baltimore Orioles.
Jim Bowden putting a major league bow on the day that was. We appreciate you as always, JB.
Thanks, Joe.